How many discounts does USAA Auto Insurance offer? Too many to say here. Multi-vehicle discount, safe driver discount, new vehicle discount, storage discount, legacy.
How many discounts will you stack up? Visit USAA.com/auto discounts. Restrictions apply.
The Tudors Dynasty Podcast.
Hello and welcome back to the show. I'm your host, Rebecca Larson. And today we're stepping back into the shadowed halls of 14th century England to meet a woman whose life defied expectations and rewrote the rules of royal romance and political power. Her name, Joan of Kent. Joan was born on the 29th of September, 1328, the granddaughter of Edward I and future mother of King Richard II. But Joan's life was anything but a fairy tale. Her father was executed for treason when she was just 2 years old. Imagine that, your family name dragged through scandal before you even knew what it meant. Joan was raised in the royal household of Queen Philippa of Hainault, who reportedly doted on the young Joan. But even that royal closeness couldn't shield her from what would come next. At the age of 12, Joan married Sir Thomas Holland, a knight in the service of the crown. But shortly after their union, Holland left for a military campaign, and Joan, she was forcibly married to another man, William Montague, the Earl of Salisbury. Let's pause there. 2 husbands, one very real, one likely imposed. No divorce, no annulment, just chaos. Years later, Holland returned and appealed to the Pope to recognize his original marriage. By 1349, the Pope ruled in his favor, and Joan returned to him. They had 5 children together, 2 of whom, Thomas and John Holland, would become half-brothers to King Richard II. When Holland died in 1360, Joan appeared to mourn deeply. She was the grieving widow for about 5 minutes, because by the next spring, she was secretly betrothed to Prince Edward of Woodstock, the Black Prince himself. Yes, that Black Prince, military hero, the heir to the throne of England. This was a union no one saw coming. Joan was a noblewoman, yes, but politically, she brought no foreign alliances, no dowry of strategic significance, and remember, she had a messy marital past that had already been dragged through the papal courts. Their decision to marry in secret was bold, even dangerous. They exchanged vows, an informal but binding marriage through mutual consent and consummation, without a priest. And here's the kicker. This was canonically forbidden. Not only were they closely related, they shared a great-grandfather, King Edward I. But Edward was also the godfather of Joan's sons. That made them spiritually connected as well.
This message is brought to you by Abercrombie Kids, where the activewear is made for every summer activity, so your mini-me can bring their personal best. Summer days are always an adventure, from day camp to rec leagues and pool days. Abercrombie Kids has the shorts, tees, and swim to keep them comfy and keep up with them. Get everything for the entire summer at Abercrombie Kids. Shop in-store, online, or in the app.
Without papal approval, their marriage was considered invalid. Worse, their children could be declared illegitimate. And for a royal heir, that wasn't just scandalous, it was dangerous. Understandably, King Edward III was furious. His son had married not just without consent, but without political gain. It dragged the entire royal family into another round of public scandal. Still, Prince Edward stood by Joan. He insisted their union was real and meaningful, and in time, the Pope agreed. A generous payment likely helped. A papal dispensation arrived in September 1361. Days later, the couple married legally, first at Lambeth before the Archbishop of Canterbury, and then with a grand public ceremony at Windsor. Joan was now Princess of Wales. Later, she would also become Princess of Aquitaine. But Joan wasn't just a royal figurehead. In 1367, while her husband campaigned in Spain, Joan held her own in Bordeaux. She learned that Henry of Trastamara, the rival to Castile's throne, planned to invade Aquitaine. Joan acted fast. She penned a letter to the French king urging him not to allow Henry to use French soil as a launching pad for war. And you know what? It worked. Joan's diplomacy halted an invasion. Her political instincts were as sharp as her loyalty. Despite her husband's frequent absences, their bond endured. By all accounts, it was a love match, something rare and radical in royal circles of the time. Their union became a symbol of new ideal, that love and marriage could coexist, that romance didn't have to be sacrificed for politics. But life wasn't finished testing Joan. Though she stood on the threshold of queenship, she would never become Queen of England. Prince Edward died in 1376, just 1 year before his father. Their son, Richard II, inherited the throne as a boy. Joan, who spent the rest of her life defending her son's position, guiding his early reign, and walking that fine line between influence and invisibility that so many powerful women in history were forced to tread. Today, Joan of Kent remains a mysterious and romantic figure. Her likeness still gazes down from a carved roof boss in the Black Prince's Chantry Chapel at Canterbury Cathedral, a silent witness to a life lived on her own terms. A princess who loved deeply, a mother who fought fiercely, and a woman who changed history, not with the sword, but with her heart. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey through the life of Joan of Kent. If you loved this episode, don't forget to rate and review us on your favorite podcast platform, and follow Tudors Dynasty and Beyond for more stories of powerful women who shaped our world, sometimes from the throne and sometimes from the shadows. Until next time, stay curious and keep questioning the stories you thought you knew.
The Tudors Dynasty Podcast.